Welcome guys to John's Football Channel. I hope all of you are doing well. This is our preview to Portugal versus DR Congo. Hopefully this is going to be a very good game for Portugal. Hopefully we're not going to be looking like these other results. Those shockers of Spain drawing to Cape Verde or Uruguay drawing to Saudi Arabia. Hopefully it's a very simple and straightforward game. Portugal get there, get the win and go home. And actually get into the next game and actually knowing that they are one step closer to qualifying into the next round correctly and properly, not like before where we would struggle and actually battle to get into the qualifying rounds of the next round, and actually then up starting to get some momentum in those in terms of the quarterfinals and semis. Hopefully we start now into the first game and actually ensure that we actually put our first foot forward and actually obliterate all the other teams that are in front of us and actually start this campaign in a good way. So let's get into the lineups as to see who might be starting for both teams. Obviously, we're playing at Houston Stadium, Houston, Texas, United States, as the first game. Then we look at if we look at DR Congo's lineup. If you look at, they're probably going to go with a back five, I suppose, because they're going to want to make sure it's difficult for Portugal to get through and actually want to break and have a counter attack against us. And also probably they have one of their best wing backs that you could actually probably find. Not the creme de la creme, but decent players the likes of Mascu and Wan-Bissaka, which is one of the up there. They're very good in terms of their positions. I think it's for West Ham and I think they both play for West Ham right now. And then if we look at in terms of centre backs, there was Kadui and then in Kambemba and Tabeze as the centre backs, and the goalkeeper as Mosquito as the goalkeeper. And then if we look at the midfield, they will go with Maku, and then we have Mosharemi and then Asaki as the midfield, and ahead of them there was Kambu and Wissa. We know Wissa is a very good player which was a good player for Brentford. I think now he has moved to, if I'm correct, Aston Villa. Newcastle. I'm sure he's still up there in terms of one of the best strikers you could possibly get from the lower leagues of the Premier League, the lower tables down. But I think he is a decent striker. He knows where the goals are. I think out of 4 or 5 shots, you should be able to get 1 or 2 in. So we definitely have to be careful with him being on the ball. And then if we look at Portugal, obviously they probably will go with Costa in goal for the first game. I've said previously I haven't seen Costa play too often for Porto, but I do prefer José Sá over him, knowing that José Sá has been in the Premier League and has a bit more experience in that aspect, in terms of the good quality and high rankings for teams around him. And then if we look at, probably they will go with the defense of Cancelo. I don't know if Diaz will be fit for this game. We know that he had an injury. If he doesn't start, I would most likely go with. It probably also depends on where he plays, because if Diaz plays on the left centre back, then probably we could think of Rioneta Vega, or I think there's another player. I think Rigo as one of the centre backs, but probably I think it will be a thing of probably Aurelio will replace him. But if it doesn't, it will be a question of can Matheus Nunes play as a right centre back and help in that position. Let me know down below what you guys think. Do you think that is possible? I haven't seen him play in that position, but it would be interesting to see if he can play there. I think he still will do a very good job, and I think I can trust his services in that position. And then in the midfield, obviously we have Neves and Vitinha as the two midfielders running the show as the 2 engines. And then we'll also I forgot about Mendes as a left back. I think he'll be starting as a left back for us. And then we jump into the front 4. Probably will have Bernardo Silva playing as, I think, as a cam, and then probably as a right centre mid, and then we'll have Bruno Fernandes in the midfield as a cam, and then Neto as either the left or right wing, depending on where they want to play him, and then Ronaldo up front. It is obviously, we have seen news about Ronaldo. Obviously, people him not playing well and him actually struggling. Probably it is a question of is he struggling down to fitness, coping in terms of the team and the intensity of these high big games for the likes of Portugal, especially knowing that these are very very big games, and the best of the best only get to play these types of games. And is he battling to keep up? Let me know down below what you guys think. But I think obviously we should probably start with him, or I would actually rather start with Ramos as our striker, or João Felix, and then bring on Ronaldo in the second half, knowing that he's fully fresh against tiring defenders. And then I think it'll also be a thing of, does Cancelo Guedes play in this team? Does he start? Does he override Bernardo Silva or Neto? I don't think Neto, probably because we know that Neto done well in his last game to get one of the goals against Nigeria. So I think he will be actually starting. I think that's hands down. I think he nailed himself into that position for now, and made sure that he actually starts. But for the other positions, I think there is a question of Cancelo Guedes and Rafinha to actually start for Portugal. Do they get in, or do they come off the bench? Let me know down below what you guys think. Do you actually still rate Bernardo Silva in his current position, starting for Portugal on the right? And then obviously some insight. Obviously Ronaldo is 41 years old. He's said to become the second oldest outfield player in the World Cup. He's obviously played. I think it's about to become his sixth World Cup throughout for him. I think it's him and Messi as well. They will be playing this. I think about the sixth World Cup for the international teams. And then Ronaldo has scored 8 goals in 9 internationals in 2025 at 41 years old. So we'll soon see how many goals he probably scores this year. Let me know down below, how many goals do you think he actually can score? And then for DR Congo, obviously they're set to return to the World Cup for the first time since 1974. It's been 52 years since their last World Cup. And then if we look at in 1974, the side conceded 14 goals without scoring in the first 3 matches. So has DR Congo actually improved? Are they able to actually do something? Are they able to? I do think so. I mean, with the likes of Wissa, for instance, they should be able to fix that negative stat towards them and actually get a goal in their first 3 matches. But I do question where they will actually score against Portugal. And then Kambembe managed just 6 goals in his last 3 club seasons, so that's actually quite shocking. And actually a thing of, does he actually deserve to actually start then for DR Congo? Is there no one else better than him? And then obviously DR Congo managed to qualify for the World Cup, beating Jamaica 1-0 in the International Federation playoff final in March. And then if we look at some form, obviously Portugal go with 4 wins and 1 draw, while DR Congo with two wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. Their recent game was a loss against Chile. So now can they bounce back? Hopefully it was a good warm-up for them in order for them to be ready for these upcoming fixtures. Hopefully not Portugal. Hopefully they're not ready for us. Hopefully they're ready for the game afterwards. But yeah, we can only help the underdogs and actually only support them. We know that they're not likely to go far. So we can only support them and actually encourage them to quite do a good performance for the country and actually come home with something, I suppose, maybe a win or some small achievements for their fans as well. So yeah, guys, and then we know we've got Colombia and then Ubenstein in the group as well. So we do know we need to get 3 points here. because we do know Colombia might be a challenge as well to get past and certify that we take the first spots in the group. And then if I'm gonna go with the score prediction for this game, I'm probably gonna go. We should be beating them. I have a feeling that we probably. My mind keeps saying to probably a 5-0. Is that too heavy for DR Congo? In recent games, we were in the mindset of other small teams losing quite badly, but I don't know what's the reason as to us not actually getting the flow of the games and actually the goals as well. The goals being very few in this competition. I do question whether, like Van Dijk did say in his post review after the Netherlands game, that it was probably he doesn't like the breaks in between the two halves. He does. I think it does stop the flow of the game, the intensity. So is that a question as to why the teams are not doing as well as we anticipated going into this World Cup with these hydration breaks in between the both games and the halves? So let me know down below what you guys think. What's your score predictions? I'm probably gonna go with a 5-0, and we'll soon see what happens in the after it's all said and done. Please stay tuned for the post review afterwards, after the game is said and done. And please like, comment, subscribe, and peace.